Hi folks, today I would like to talk about an amazing book that I've been reading, and I know that many of you have been reading alongside me. It's called The Return of the Divine Sophia by Tricia McCammon. And this is a subject that I'm really passionate about. It's a subject that's really close to my heart and has always been at the back of my mind or deep within my soul my whole life. And I feel like lately my understanding of everything has really sort of been crystallized, and this book has really helped to do that. So, as you can see, I'm about halfway through the book. I haven't finished the book, but there's so much amazing information and really juicy stuff in it that I wanted to come on and talk about it, and my response to it, and to hear what your response to the book is, or for anybody who hasn't read the book, to give you an idea of what it's about, because it's a really important subject, and to me actually probably the most important subject that we could be discussing right now on the planet. So this book really gives an excellent explanation for how things and why things have become so out of balance in our lives and on the planet. And this is something that I have known at a very intuitive level from I was a young child, that things were out of balance and things were not right. And I've been sort of gathering information over the past decade or so, not really intentionally, just things coming towards me, but now it's really, as I said, starting to crystallize. So, what the book describes is, it talks about ancient civilizations and how, for hundreds of thousands of years, humanity lived in a very different way to what we are used to here in what we call modern society. And humanity actually worshipped the goddess primarily, and God was initially seen as a woman. And this is obviously stark contrast to the Abrahamic religions that came in about 4,000 years ago, that told us that God was a man and that women were subservient to men, and that woman was actually in fact created from the rib of a man, and that woman was um, a less than creature and a temptress, and all of these negative ideas that have been introduced about women and the feminine aspect. So obviously this is complete and utter nonsense, and even biology shows us that all human life, in fact all mammals, start as female, and the male aspects of our being only develop at a later stage. So it makes sense that these ancient civilizations saw God primarily as a woman, as the great creator, that everything was born out of her womb. But that's not to say that men were subservient in these cultures. It's not that. It's not that this is one sex is better than the other, because that's just, the same kind of inequality that we're having the problem with now. It was more that the societies were not matriarchal, they were matrilineal, in that the power was passed down through the mother line, and the property was passed down from mother to daughter. But men were chosen by women as kings to rule alongside them. And I feel that this is because women are naturally more wise. They have a deeper intuitive connection. I'm not making generalize. Oh, well, I suppose I am kind of generalizing here. But I'm talking more about the feminine aspect. The feminine polarity is more intuitive and wise, whereas men would be more sort of confident and proactive and natural leaders. So this is not about better or worse, it's about different and equal. So in these societies, men were different but equal, and there was a true partnership between men and women, and they ruled together. They had equal power, they had equal rights, and they were equally respected. So where did it all go wrong then? We're looking at about 4,000 years ago. This is something that I kind of had already been putting pieces together for myself over the past year or so, as my understanding of astrology and other subjects has been growing. So about 4,000 years ago, we were in the age of Aries. and we were also entering into the Kali Yuga. So the Kali Yuga is a time within the Great Year, which lasts 26,000 years, that humanity is really at its lowest spiritual point. So it's at this lowest spiritual point, and during the age of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, the planet of war and aggression, that these Abrahamic religions were introduced to the planet. And to me, these religions brought about a complete reversal of the natural order. So women were now made subservient to men, and the feminine principle was completely suppressed. So the wisdom and the intuition and the love and the nurturing that the feminine aspect brought to humanity has been completely suppressed. And as a result, we have had a planet that is completely out of balance. We have had violence against women. We have had the destruction of the planet, the suffering of animals. And ultimately, we are now at a crisis point where we are right now. The craziness that we've seen over the past 18 months, to me, is a culmination of all of this. And now science is being held up as the new religion. And just like the Abrahamic religions came along and destroyed all of the indigenous cultures, and anybody who didn't go along with it was barbarically treated, let's say, that's what they're trying to do now with their new religion of science and technology. And of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with science and technology, but it's when it's out of balance. So science is being held up as the answer to all our problems, taking away all consideration of nature, humanity, wisdom. And this is trying to lead us into this dystopian reality, which personally I feel is going to fail because it can't actually exist because it's completely out of balance. So it's really obviously now about finding solutions. And to me, the solution is obvious. We can see what the problem is. The problem is the imbalance. So the solution, of course, is to restore balance. And it's restoring balance of the polarities of masculine and feminine, and bringing back the feminine as an equal partner to the masculine, listening to her wisdom, respecting nature, nurturing all living creatures, because when the feminine aspect was fully in her power, we understood that we must live in harmony with nature, and that all life needs to be respected because everything is interdependent upon each other. And just as the male and the female and the masculine and the feminine are interdependent upon each other, one cannot exist without the other without getting extremely out of balance. So we need to start the process of restoring balance within ourselves, first of all, because we all have the masculine and feminine polarities within us. So we need to balance the masculine and feminine polarities within us individually and then collectively in order to restore balance to the planet as a whole. So I hope this has been interesting to listen to. I would be really interested to hear any of you who've also been reading the book. Maybe you've got a bit further than me. I'd love to hear your views and your response to the book. And this is something we're going to be talking about more. Actually, I run a moon circle once a month, or actually, sorry, twice a month. And our next meeting is actually tomorrow night, and we are going to be focusing on the theme of balance because this is the new moon in Libra, and Libra is all about balance. So we're going to be talking about restoring balance in all aspects of our lives, and specifically in relationships. And next year I'm going to be running a course, which is a 7-week chakra healing course. And of course, when we balance the chakras, we are balancing the masculine and feminine polarities within us. So if this is something that interests you, feel free to get in touch, send me a private message and I will get back to you. But in the meantime, have a great day, and please do leave a comment below to let me know what you thought and your response to the book if you've been reading it.